It's very nice to see you all, and thank you for coming. My name is Kashin, and I live and work at Sonoma Mountain Zen Center and practice, of course. And I've been here for a while, and I'm from Denmark originally. And today, we will continue talking a little bit more about ordinary beauty, what that means. At last time, we went through how we could take a pause in our busy lives, busy day, and drink a cup of tea. And we went through how to make a flower arrangement and to remember the nature outside and the seasons. So today we will see how we can use our the eating in our eating as a practice. So ordinary means, of course, you know, all the things we do in our lives. Ordinary means to be intimate with yourself, to know who you are through your actions, but actually not as a two separate things, but what's outside also reflect the inside is one of the same thing. Think about beauty being something ordinary, but often is because of things are ordinary we find the beauty. So, okay, that's the picture. So this is an Oryoki bowl, and that we do with the formal eating here at the Zen Center. But before we start with that, I would like to share a certificate with you that I received in 2014, I think, that I received from my teacher, Kwong Roshi, which is it sums up the importance of the practice and rituals of every day. Okay, there it is. So I would read, this document acknowledges Fushin Kashin, that is my Buddhist name, as the first holder of the Gato position. And a Gato person is one who is in charge of the aesthetics of the Zen Center, is arts discipline that can range everything from the tea ceremony to Kyudo, the way of the bow, or Kendo, the sword, or flower arrangement. There's many art disciplines. That's what Gato, the word Gato comes from. So as the first holder of the Gato position at Sonoma Mountain, may you, that means all of us, may we further our creativity and investigation by illuminating through ritual the essence of beauty, which appears and is disguised as the objective world. May this spirit do good. So illuminating through ritual means ritual is everything you do every day. Is from the way you get out of bed, the way you brush your teeth, the way you comb your hair, the way you make breakfast, the way you sit down and eat, and so on. All the activities is a ritual, is a chance to wake up in what you are doing. So to illuminate it, yes, means exactly to be there, while you're doing it. And it's a practice you can constantly or have to do over and over, because when there's no gap between the things that's done and the doer. So the essence of beauty means, again, things that's ordinary, we find the beauty because when we, for instance, see something beautiful, let's say the sunset, with no words, we have this very wonderful and calm feeling, and before we thinking it's beautiful, there's a certain feeling, and what we sense is the essence of our own being. It's actually ourselves that we are looking at, you can say. And that relationship you can have to anything, and the the feeling is, after practicing for a while, that it is really true. Everything that's surrounding you, from people to so-called objects, is no different from you yourself. So the last part, which appears and is disguised as the objective world. Again, we think things are outside ourselves, and things are there to use, and of course it is. But in which way are we using it? Are we taking care of things outside? And as we do that, we take care of ourselves. It's not just an object. So you honor it, you have respect for it. That means that's also how you treat this being. So inside and outside is no difference. So maybe that's good enough for this, going through this document. And I will get into into the little bit of the feeling of the Oryoki. I'm not give you Oryoki instructions, but rather give you a feeling of the spirit, of the sense of eating with Oryoki bowls. So I think all of you, what I can see on the screen, you all are not familiar with Oryoki and have done it, some of you, many, many times. So I will just go ahead and do that. So now we are ready to receive the food. And actually, Oryoki is originally started as an alms gathering. So the monks and nuns, they will go out and get, ask for food. So that means that it was a practice of giving and receiving. So every time somebody gives something, then they will give the Dharma back as in return. So then it get expanded to in temples to also be around food. So it's actually a practice of giving and receiving. So then we pretend we have food in all three bowls. This is the Buddha bowl, and it's actually resembles a Buddha's head, so that's why it's round, and it has it's like the crown of the head, Buddha's head, and that's why it has a stand. Okay. So now we have eaten, and now we're ready to clean the bowls. So we take with two hands in respect for the utensils. Remember, it's not just objects. So we scrape the remains of the food because we do not waste anything. So now we are ready to clean the bowls and receive the tea water. A spoon has four sides, in front and the back and the sides. And the chopsticks are round. And everything points towards you. We don't drop the utensils as we will not drop ourselves. So we scoot it down. And as I wash, I see the light into my bowl. And the cloth unfolds itself. It has its own life. And as I put the second bowl inside the Buddha bowl, actually, I do not know how deep it is. Now we are ready to offer the ambrosia water that the Tenso, the cook, will offer to the trees and the scrubs outside the kitchen. And the cloth is like not always folds itself. Then we wait for each other. So we're done at the same time. Always think of be in tune and in harmony with others. So that is Oryoki, and you are very familiar with it. But what I want to try to convey is like the spirit, and of course this form is very intricate. There's a lot to it, and of course you could eat with your Oryoki bowl if you have one at home, but you can still have that spirit with plate and knives and fork and glasses. So I will try to do that. It's new to me too. So at home, being we have Ajo, that's his chore to set the table. And we tell him, please do it nicely. Don't throw the plates on the table, and notice the plate being in front of the seat. Okay, important, front of the seat. And when we put down things, when we put down things, again, like the same way the second bowl went into the Buddha bowl, we do not know what the surface is. And when we are there and just with it, that means actually you're present. That seems often for a lot of people, that's like little too much. But actually it's very interesting. We not liking, you know, we can feel there's something that doesn't have patience for it, or we are a little at ease to find ourselves just of a simple activity of putting down and not knowing when we're touching the surface. Then we have the napkin and the glass. So we tell Ajo, you know, try to, at least when we get served food, to do it with two hands. Two hands, like with Oryoki, we have respect for things, and we know that objects are not objects, is also the way we treat ourselves and others. The utensils. So when we eat with utensils, also Oryoki, then we will hear sometimes a lot of sound, you know, hitting the bowls or the plate. That actually somewhere is because you are not there. You can see, yeah, it's bad habit, but exactly bad habit is not knowing what you're doing. You're just doing it out of habit. And of course, we all have them. There's nothing wrong with that. But trying to wake up to that moment when you hear, you know, oh, I'm banging the plate, you know, and try not to do so. And utensils is also a very sensory thing. Like we often use things without actually just by using things as something for convenience of ourselves, but not noticing the life of a fork, for instance. So like holding your hands and noticing the utensils in your hand is also another way to wake up to this moment. Okay. See, so I feel like I prepared too much, so I got it all scrambled up in my head, and I can't quite remember, and it's not as natural as I wanted it to be. So maybe I should just go ahead at this point that take some questions before the time runs away from us. If you have any questions, otherwise I just say a little more.
I have a question.
Okay, Coco.
What about the speed of which you eat something? Can you say something about, how first one eats? Like, I tend to eat like a, hurried way. So can you say something about eating mindfully in terms of speed?
Okay. So often what I hear when people eat oryoki during the retreats is that, oh my gosh, it seems terribly fast. And it might seem so compared to the way you usually eat, but it's because we practice just eating. So we are not getting too much into, this tastes good, or this, I like this dish, but we just do the act of eating. That does not mean that you're like a robot and just like trying to feed yourself, but it has something to do with the just do, right? The next, and also oryoki together. It's important that you harmonize for everybody have the same speed. So now at home when you eat, if you have an instinct like to say, I'm in a hurry or I need to eat fast, the medicine for that will be you're telling yourself you need to slow down, and that's probably what we need to do at that point. So intuitively, like we know, notice things, and then we wake up, and that's when we notice things. That's when we try to apply the practice, either slow down or try to not to get distracted, or notice that we're sitting on the chair, we have the feet on the ground, simple things like that. Any other questions?
I have a question.
I know you guys also, you can just speak up. Don't be afraid of me. Okay, Annie.
Hi, Kashin. Thank you so much for this. I love this so much. And I'm thinking about the ways I eat, especially right now where I live in quarantine. And my routine is to watch TV while I eat dinner. I live alone, and I love it. That feels so precious to me because I'm alone in my room, and I have one table, which is like where my laptop is right now, and I don't want to be at the table, and I want to feel like a vividness at the end of the day when I'm sort of in this like sensory deprivation tank, just in the same place all day. And my mind, like just listening to this, I'm like, oh, it's bad to watch TV and eat dinner. But I wonder, I wonder what you, and you can see the TV back there, but it means that it's like not at a table. I'm like sitting in a chair and holding it and eating and watching TV. So yeah, just wonder what your thoughts would be about that. Is it bad to watch TV and eat?
Do you notice what you're eating? Would you eat and watch TV, or are you totally absorbed in what's going on the TV?
Like, yes and no. It kind of depends.
I think you can still practice, I understand, like, it feels special, and you with people, but I think, yeah, you can still practice and just still do it in a setting where you have to be dignified in your eating. So because dignity is not anyways, it's about some kind of presence that's authentic. So if you are completely authentic in your presence while you eat and watch TV, I think that's good practice, you know. So just notice, yeah, what's going on, you know. I think that's what is most important.
Thank you for that.
Any other questions? Yes?
Yes, Kashin, hi. One thing I really like about Oryoki practice at Zen Center is the chanting that we do during the meal. It seems to be so elemental that I remember it. And I remember the 3 precepts and the Sambhogakayas, and it just always stays with me. So when you're at home and you're practicing this mindful way of eating, do you folks start off with a chant or a prayer or anything like that?
It's a good point. The chanting is a way to also together start the meal and end the meal together. So you can certainly, thank you for asking that. You can do that as you eat at your kitchen table. It's important to start. So we, 3 of us, Nilsa and Adrian and I, we say, itadakimasu. It just happened to be Japanese, and saying thank you for the food we're about to eat. And when we're done eating and wait for each other, then we say, go chisusama deshita, which means thank you for us to receive this food. So it's true. So you can do things like that. Yeah.
Great. Thank you.
So eating, when your family, I put on my note, like eating in silence, it's nice to try, because it's often not done at home. You can try and see, if that helps you be more present in your eating. And like, unfortunately, so that even eating together and pausing whatever everybody's doing, it's in itself seems difficult for a lot of families. I lived a life too where, like, I'm like halfway out of the door with something in my hand, I want to eat. And so I don't think I need to say it to anybody here, but to try to, pause and then eat together is very important. And
can I ask a question? I have a question.
Yes.
My question is about, the chants, especially the one to be free from clinging, we must be free from greed, right? First, 72 labors brought us as food. We should know how it comes to us. Second, as we receive this offering, we should consider whether our virtue and practices are it. Third, as we desire the natural purity of mind to be free from clinging, we must be free from greed, right? By the time we get to that chant, my mouth is like watering. I'm totally, give me the food. I have a kind of a greed thing going on, I think, every time, man, right at that point. And I just noticed how difficult I find it to like continue practice through the Oryoki, like to sustain practice. Because I think because of relationship with food, it just throws me right off. It's really, I find it really hard to be like equanimous with it, And I find like, it's not really until I'm washing my second bowl where I'm like, okay. I settle into it at that point, So I'm just wondering if you have any suggestions for me, any help that maybe I could like be more present to it. And yeah, because I think it's a thing, relationship with food is a thing. And I think that's part of this practice, that it helps us look at that in maybe a slightly different way.
Right.
So I'm
And
interested in any thoughts you have about sustaining practice through the Oryoki, you know, what that would look like.
So now Oryoki is also designed in a way that you just receive just enough. So that already takes care of it. And in traditionally in temples, you do have seconds, so they come. The service comes one more around, but you can, yeah. You know, for me too. You know, like I'm hungry and my mouth water started going, but and there's of course nothing wrong with that. But when you eat, you know, just eat. Well, that you're already asking and you're aware of that. You know, you don't get into the desire of the food. And again, there's nothing wrong with like, of course, the food should, you know, taste good. I'm a cook now, so I'm trying to, you know, not go overboard, but make it taste good. And to notice that. But then again, it has to be something about just come back into the action of the eating itself, and kind of put your mind there, you know, put your mind on the seat, maybe the non-food thing could be it.
Sorry, on the seat, and then what was the other thing you said? Put your mind on the seat, and then you said another sentence. What was the other sentence after that?
The mind on the seat, and back to just the eating itself.
Yeah,
And or it could be your sensory thing, like you know, noticing the way you hold the chopsticks, you know, the way you hold the bowl, the weight of your bowl, where you hold it, how your posture is, you know, like that.
Okay. Yeah, that helps. Thank you.
Any other questions? That's easy for me to, you know, to kind of, you know, talk about it. I seem a little stiff today. Okay. Also, now that I, you know, there's something that called Menmitsu no Kafu, which means to be very careful with things. So it is know that like this plate, you know, essentially, you know, it's at that moment it is being as a plate, and I'm here sitting here, and right now just happen to be this person who's about to eat. I'm trying to say that there's this individual, you know, so that's how we act, but also in your eating practice, be connected with everything, you know, the universe, by the way you relate to things and treating it. It's important.
Why aren't you using your bowls for your meals at home? Are those bowls only for special occasions?
No, we could use it. I don't know what Adrian will say about that. Though he does, when we have the month-long practice period, he does come down to the Sangha house and eat Oryoki with us. And that's because he knows that's the only way he can get dinner. But at home, we don't do it because I think you can totally do the same practice again, carry on the same spirit in with just plates. But you could do that, you know, or any 3 bowls you have in the kitchen, you can, you know, imitate the Oryoki bowls.
I hardly ever use plates. I like bowls. I use a bowl for cereal. I use a bowl for soup. I use a bowl for rice. I love bowls.
Right. But the eating is most important, that you are that we are there, present, and know that we are eating. It sounds so simple, but it's really easy to forget. And
I forget every day. I wake up and I'm slamming my fork against, I'm slamming my spoon against the bowl's walls repeatedly. Tick, 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 tick. And I've also, I knocked one tooth. I broke a tooth just because of the spoon constantly clacking, not even realizing it, hitting my
right.
molar.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why we say like our realization or our awakening or even like enlightenment is in everything we do. So we have so incredible many opportunities, like a minute to seconds every single day to wake up and notice those things and try not to do it. We have to recondition ourselves. And this is also very important, because if we want to, wake up to the your true being, that's you have to practice it constantly, and wake up that seeking mind or the Bodhi mind anytime you have an opportunity for it. So it's in all our everyday activities, the way you put your shoes together, the way you fold your clothes, the way you comb your hair, and, the way you put on your socks. Every little thing is an opportunity to wake up. But it's so difficult to be there for it, because it's so, again, so close and so ordinary that we for most time completely dismiss it, and is in our habits. Okay. So I think I will end for today, and thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
I hope I can continue this. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Kashin.
Bye.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you, Kashin.